Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. If this is your first time tuning in, hi, hello, welcome, thank you. Get on up in here. Please follow us on YouTube at Inappropriate Radio TV. Not sure why nobody could find me, but I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to fix the website, all right? But yeah, no periodic table or alien talk. And I do hope you guys have been studying your elements, right? But the grade came through with the message. Right? You already know. I'm about to get into it. So, we are going to start our autistic segment today. Usually, when we do a series, we do mostly thorough investigation, right? We like to do research here to back up our claims, and we like to pair that research with spirituality, science, and we go with the flow. We go with the flow of what the creator is pointing out to us, right? So this first, and what God wanted me to make sure I said was fuck the people who think that I'm trying to exploit these kids, because you don't know my heart, you don't know my life, and you don't even know me like that. Alright, so ain't nobody trying to exploit these kids. There are a lot of people who are dealing with autistic children, and this is going to be something that we all will be needing to explore. I want to first say that I actually used to work with autistic children before now. This is my second year now working with autistic children, but in 2017 I used to work with autistic children for a very short time, and I can see the difference, okay, in myself, in my growth. I can see the difference in my patience with dealing with them. I can see the difference in my maturity when dealing with them. And I can also see the difference in my ability to understand them. And when I say understand them, I mean the words that they are attempting to utter, or their behaviors, right? Because we don't always get to interpret their behaviors, especially if they're nonverbal. So this first segment is going to be about the things that I've observed, that I myself have observed. You yourself more than likely have had different or maybe even similar experiences, right? We can throw them all together in a pot and get this shit cooking, right? Okay, so 3 things that are consistent, whether this autistic person is high, mid, or low functioning, okay? The sensitivity to light and high-pitched sound, or both, okay? Then there's the lack of boundaries. I don't care if they are high functioning or not. This lack of boundaries is one of the main things that I've seen that is so consistent across the board, okay, with all autistic people. And the third thing, they mimic everything, like right there on the spot. You know how maybe a child that is, not really delayed in more obvious ways is maybe a little more subtle, or there's no like complications or anything like that. They too will mimic you and repeat you, but in different ways. Autistic people will do it right there on the spot. Like if you say something, they'll say it right there. Like they'll repeat it back to you. So you have to really be careful what you expose them to. Like you would do anybody else, but it's like magnetized by 10, okay? Then, those are the 3 things that I noticed that are consistent. And then I started to think about the family connections, right? Obviously, they say that boys are usually autistic more than girls, yada, yada, yada. There are tons of factors. Nobody really knows the real reason why these children are being born autistic. A lot of people have theories, and I don't think those theories are consistent all across the board, okay? Then I started to realize that when it comes to the family aspect, it's 2 things, right? It's the family that really is overprotective of them. They're very supportive. They're really reliable, and they don't fucking play about that autistic person. And then you have the family member that obviously would rather not deal with the autistic person, and they don't really, show up in a way that you would expect someone to show up for a person that is special needs, right? And then that's when I started thinking about the warfare and the different energies that can be attached to this person. Remember, we've had a few segments about autistic people, and my interactions paired with certain downloads has been the reason we've had the segments that we've had so far. Okay, so when I started thinking about that, it just brought me back around to the warfare. When you have this child, right, that nobody can really fully understand unless they just have that connection with them, this is, again, a barrier that has taken place in a bloodline. And whether they are an ancestor that has reincarnated or not, there is this consistent theme of not really being able to communicate, okay? And if you are connected to anything or anyone and you can't connect with them, I mean, you can infer what you want from it, but to me, that seems like something spiritual's going on, okay? If you can't make a real connection, okay? So I think that's something to look at. I think it's something to think about. I'm not asking you to agree with me, but what I am asking is for you to heavily and thoroughly observe anyone that you've come into contact with that has autism or that is taking care of someone with autism, or maybe they're just in a family and they are pretty close, to the person that has autism. Okay? Just observe. Pay attention to the cadence. Pay attention to the body language. Pay attention to the things that they are attracted to, including food, television shows, music, choice of clothing, colors, different smells, the places that they frequent or that they would like to frequent, and the behavior when they get there. Because one thing that I noticed, and this is definitely the fourth thing, right? There's this factor of feeding off of energy. And this is where I think it's obvious that there is some sort of link and connection to, the people that are, and just wait, I'm sorry to cut off mid-sentence, but when you are observing, please don't be biased. Really open yourself up, open up your thoughts, right? But yeah, the people that are connected to these autistic people, however it goes, wherever you find yourself, even if it's just your neighbors, if you spend enough time with them to be able to observe, please observe, okay? Now, when it comes to the family situation, it's a hit or miss, right? Like I said, they're either really overprotective or it's obvious that they would rather not deal with it, okay? And you have to look at the years they were born, the years they were conceived, the years they were born, and the different elements that are connected, okay? Because like we always do, we pay attention to zodiac because those energies are important, okay? I'm not telling you to believe in astrology. I'm just telling you to look at the consistency as far as birthdays are concerned, okay? A lot of people's plans have been thwarted when they start interacting with these autistic children. There are a lot of different reasons, right, why we would, be able to look at these different situations and wonder where all of this has started, where is it coming from, and where is it going? Obviously, since no one really knows, and I mean, at least they're not telling us the real cause, right? That is another hint that there's a spiritual factor. There's an unseen factor that is attached, okay? Most times we find ourselves in situations that we don't really understand, right? And I believe that if we knew the answer, we would be able to come up with a solution. If you knew anything that would help, you would provide a solution. If you knew where to begin, you would more than likely have a solution, right? But that's not where we are right now. And remember this segment that we had just the other day, I want to say it was like Monday or Tuesday, about this could just be the direction that we're headed into as a people, as a group, as a human race, not a race of people, not just one particular nation, all of us, right? That is the reason, that could be the explanation for AI, that could be the explanation for all of these different things, right? Because the frequency that we're headed to is going to be so chaotic that being rational will be the new norm. Being irrational will be the new norm. Being rational will be obsolete. And that would be like people who are going to be like designing these different softwares. They're going to be the ones actually running the world. And everybody else is going to be in it. And maybe a good 80% of the people in the world are going to be autistic to some degree. Maybe it's not going to be low functioning people, but there are going to be a lot of people. And maybe that is where we would start, okay? Projections, the numbers. How has the autistic population grown since we've been getting the first case? Like, what was the first case of autism? Where was it? What was it like, right? And then we can move from there. It's really important for us to understand this because everyone has at least one autistic person in their family. At least. So it would behoove you to have a little bit of information on autistic people for several reasons, right? But mainly because if we can see that there's a dramatic increase in autistic people over the last 20 some odd years, then we can safely assume that there will be another, big amount of people that are going to be diagnosed with autism. So for us, our best bet might be to try our best to understand what all of this is about. Okay? What is the purpose? What is the reason? How do we can't combat it, obviously, right? So how do we fit it in to normalize it with society? How do we fit it into society? And I think people have been doing really good with that, right? Raising awareness about autism. So, and it's so crazy because my boss gave me a website, and I'm going to give it to you guys on the next segment. It's like edweb.net, like ed, like education, like short for education.net. And this website, it gives different webinars on, it's just educating you on how to interact with autistic people, with the autistic population. Okay. So I think the more that we educate ourselves and the more we open ourselves up to the realm of possibilities that is connected to autism, the more we'll be able to deal with it as a group, okay, as a people. I'm really looking forward to doing the necessary legwork to go into this, and I'm excited about it, not only because I'm working with this population, but also because it might actually answer some questions for all of us. All right. But I'm going to end it here. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are going to enjoy your Friday. I hope you are drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it's free. I love y'all. Peace.